people think they know about the Ford Mustang, but a lot of those people don't know the Mach 1. You can't rent this Mustang on vacation. You can make Mustang GT drivers very jealous. Now for this review, I'll tell you how the Mach 1 splits the difference between the GT and the GT350, which is no longer in production. It even shares some parts with the GT500, the holy grail of all Mustangs. Stick around because things are about to get loud. And you'll want to subscribe. At CarGurus, we test all the hot cars on the market so you don't have to. You're welcome. First things first, let's talk parts, performance parts. The parts that separate a regular Mustang GT, which is already plenty fast, from a Mach 1. The best angle of the Mach 1 is right here. The whole lower diffuser and those big fat exhaust tips are lifted straight from the GT500, the mega Mustang. What you also can't see is here as well. The rear differential oil cooler, the bushings, the toe links, the entire rear subframe of the car is from the GT500 and the GT350. Now also, these tires are Michelin Pilot Sport 4S, some of the best tires you can get, arguably probably the best. That's off the GT Performance Pack. What you don't get though is any Mustang Pony logo. That's only on the center caps and the steering wheel. Instead, you got this Mach 1 logo straight out of 1969. Now, Mach 1s were also in 2003 and 2004. This will also be a limited edition. It's not gonna stick around long. And don't forget that there's also a Mustang Mach-E, completely different car. We've reviewed that too, but nothing like the Mustang Mach 1. This may seem like an ordinary gray, but it's not. It's fighter jet gray. It has a green tint and it's exclusive to the Mach 1. I'd really recommend ordering this over a yellow or a blue like you see in other Mustangs. This is the one to get. Plus, this color lets you get the optional appearance package. It gives you these nice black matte decals, orange accents on the side, the orange brake calipers, because when you're driving a sports car, you color coordinate the shoes. That's a rule. But the brakes themselves, Brembo's 6-piston up front, 15 inches in diameter, that's hefty stuff. And it's also optional on the GT Performance Pack. But the reason why this is a Mach 1 and not a GT is all of this. More air intake, brand new front splitter for more downforce, more cooling, really more everything, except these. This doesn't actually do anything. It's not an intake or a light. It does echo the original Mach 1's accessory lights that were in that grille position. You've seen them on past Mustangs. It's a little weird that they're blank plates here, but what Ford really paid attention to were these marker lights here for the daytime running lights. They're off the Shelby cars. What do you guys think? I mean, it's just hot. There's more you gotta see, so let's pop the hood, shall we? The Mach 1's V8 is mostly identical to the Mustang GT, but it has 20 more horsepower, 480 in total, and the same 420 pound-feet of torque. Now here's where things get different. The intake manifold and engine oil cooler are from the GT350. There's also an additional transmission oil cooler, and you can get a handling package that comes with more aerodynamics and even wider, stickier tires. All right, I'm done talking. Let's get out of here. God, that exhaust is loud. This is normal mode. And there's two other modes that you can adjust here on the steering wheel. Sport, a little bit louder, and track, for track use only. Yeah, right. Yeah, I think that'll be my default, that one right here. Everything is great about this 5-liter V8. Ford's been making it for so long, of course they perfected it. It just, well, it's that, first of all. Words can't even describe it. But when you do use words, it's linear. The power comes on so progressively. Of course there's no lag because there's no boost. It just turns on and goes all the way to redline past 7,000, which is a lot for a V8. And it sounds good from the bottom rumble. It sounds like a subwoofer to just this NASCAR like rip. God, it just does not get old ever. Ever, ever. Until you have to go refuel, which I had to do after 180 miles. So expect that. 14 mpg, 15, yeah, you'll be paying a lot of money, a lot. This Mach 1 is already a ton of car, and I really haven't been able to push it. I'm not pushing it hard now because we're on public road. We're not on a racetrack. But just be aware that even at this pace, the steering feels great. There's multiple effort modes that I can select with this toggle switch here on the dash, but I don't need to because the turning feels good. There's actual feel coming through. Everything just feels balanced. And in old Mustangs pre-2015, you wouldn't have gotten that. They were straight line cars. But even though this chassis has been around for a long time now, Ford has this thing sorted. And when you get all the different Shelby parts that are being put into this vehicle, you're just getting an even better car, really, because the GT350 is still my favorite Mustang of this generation, but now you can't buy it anymore. So if you're gonna buy a new one, the Mach 1 really does split that difference. I said it before, between the GT500 and the regular GT. There's a big gap there. This is the one that fills it. I don't have a problem with this 10-speed automatic when I am on the gas like this. It responds quickly, it upshifts fast, it'll drop gears, it'll go from like 9 to 5. Just like me working, 9 to 5. But I don't really keep those hours. I kind of work whenever I want. And the Mustang transmission also kind of shifts however it wants. It's fast, it's reactive, but there's a problem. I'm in third gear right now. Say I want to downshift a second because I like to make more noise. Oh my God, my head. Yeah. So that's the thing about this transmission. It was meant to be in the F-150 and a lot of other Ford vehicles that are not nearly as fast or capable. So what's that mean? They changed the software algorithms, they added a transmission oil cooler, but after that it's still the same transmission that's in trucks. You can't really get around that. And the first two gears are just so low. So if I downshift like this, it like doesn't rev match entirely. I'll go to first. It's just, yeah, that's no good. If you get into any other sports car with a paddle shifted automatic transmission, you really get seamless downshifts as well as upshifts. So this is a bit weird. I just feel like the calibration is just not there for this car. Yeah, and it even clunks when you're on the brakes. No good, no good. If you want a really good Mustang automatic, you buy the GT500, which has a dual clutch automatic that's so much faster to respond up and down. I drove that car on a drag strip in Las Vegas, on the mountain roads, in the desert. Yeah, that was excellent. No complaints at all. But with the Mach 1, it's more than $20,000 less to start, so they're not gonna put in that fancy transmission. So what you're getting is just some off-the-shelf piece that Ford has. They've retuned it. It's just not really meant for this car. But what is meant for this car is the standard 6-speed manual from the GT350. Great throws, it's short, the clutch feels great, and it's cheaper. With the 10-speed, I just feel like there's too many gears to play with. One plus side on the automatic versus the manual, these extra 4 gears really let the Mustang Mach 1 just loaf along lazily on the highway or at higher speeds. And then when you just want to go, you just launch it, come back, quiet down, upshift, still upshifting, now we're in 10th gear. Well, if you say that to people, it's like, you have a 10-speed. It's like, yeah, my Huffy as a kid had a 10-speed. Now my Mustang has it, and I'm a big boy. That's phenomenal. If that doesn't sound like straight up motorsport to you, I don't know what is. And this thing is $60,000 and it can completely keep up with cars costing, well, a heck of a lot more. And I myself, not really a Mustang guy. I like the Jaguars and the Mercedes, but I respect this 100%. I can get behind this. You have to love it. You just have to. These brakes really do grab. I like them a lot. Barely on them, but they bite really cleanly, as they should. They're Brembo. The Mustang came out in 2014, and if you get a base car, you feel like you're stuck in 2014. Little tiny screens, no customization, analog gauges. Now the premium trims of those cars have what's standard in the Mach 1. A 12-inch digital instrument cluster that's really interesting to see and use. The gauges change depending on the driving mode, from normal to Sport Plus to track to drag race. Yes, drag race, where you can then activate several features you're not supposed to use on the street. Now the lawyers say we can't touch these things, so I'm gonna be really good right now, at least on camera. There's a feature called line lock, which breaks the front wheels only, and the rears are unlocked so you can do unlimited burnouts. There's acceleration and braking timers. You can see special auxiliary gauges for the cylinder head temperature and the air intake temperature. Don't really usually see those. One feature your neighbors will really appreciate is the quiet mode. That's like an alarm clock for the Mustang's exhaust, so it won't open the valves when you cold start it. They will thank you, believe me. The text is really big when you cycle through menus, and I really appreciate that Ford did that. It's not at all dangerous or distracting to use. You can also do more cool things like make custom ambient lighting colors throughout the car. On the infotainment, Sync 3 is older. It's not Sync 4, but it's still good. Quick, easy to use. The screen now looks a little small and lower res next to the Bronco, which has that really nice 12-inch, but by itself, it works just fine. You don't get any semi-automated driving, no 360 cameras, none of that fancy stuff, but you do get detail. On the dash are these old analog gauges for engine vacuum and oil pressure, if you like monitoring those type of things. And the rest of the dash is also old style with this Mach 1 plate to let everyone know how limited it is. Also, these orange seat stripes and rib seat inserts and a crank handbrake. This is all old school stuff. It's not all that nice inside for 60 grand, but it is a comfortable place to be. There's a little back seat for putting some groceries. You wouldn't put adults back there. There's a sizable trunk, but really, who cares about that stuff? It belong right here. My Mach 1 costs $60,935 with destination. The Mustang starts just over 27 grand and can push well over 80 for the Shelby GT500. You get what you pay for in a Mustang, and you get a whole lot. Power, sound, good looks, and equally good handling. Coupe or convertible, 4-cylinder or fire-breathing supercharged V8. The Mustang can do it all, except stand out in a crowd. The Mustang is such a popular sports car that everyone has seen one for decades. Now that's great for American car culture, not so great when you want to feel special. For that, you need a Mustang like the Mach 1. It's unique, but it won't break the bank like a Shelby GT500. Now personally, I really loved the Shelby GT350. The engine in that car was so much more exotic sounding than this Mach 1. But as it stands, I'm not gonna complain when there's a rear-wheel drive sports car that's this powerful, this loud, this exciting. Never. So what do you guys think? Go online to browse listings, read the reviews at CarGurus.com, keep subscribing. We got more fun cars on the way. See you next time.